though. You know, it's a small city, bro. Compton is a small city, and to have the impact that it has on music, dog, I don't, you know, unless you're talking about like Brooklyn and, you know, the Bronx and all that stuff, they was around since the inception of hip hop, you know? I'm talking about this small city that's had the impact on music. I doubt that anybody from New York or anywhere else can say that they got a resident in a city that's had the impact on music Compton did. Compton ushered in a whole new genre, dog.
Yeah, but like you said, the Brooklyns and the shits like that have been around since the inception and are still going on to this day too. So that's a hard argument.
I don't know, man. Compton, you know, Compton might be, you know, you just can't discount the CPT.
People gonna say you being biased now because of the Kendrick era. Oh yeah, you're saying that because Kendrick's because like I said, for a long time, we didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot to represent. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's in time frames.
But let me kick this off though, dog, because no matter the time frames are significant. Okay, first of all, you got Toddy T and Mixed Master Spade that you start off with, right? I would say that's probably I'm only naming people that actually lived in Compton. I would say the legendary, right?
Yeah.
Then you got the NWA era, dog. And you had people that was claiming Compton. Compton was so influential back in the day. You had people that didn't even live in Compton claiming it, right? So you had NWA. Can't even begin to describe what they did for hip hop. You feel what I'm saying? It was just gangster rap, but not just gangster rap, dog. Just the whole thing is just
because not everybody was accepting of gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? Had you tell it, NWA destroyed a lot when it came to hip hop. So, you know, from other people's perspectives.
Well, you know what? No, what NWA did is they, you know, let's just drop the gangster rap shit. It was reality rap at its finest. They put the spotlight on police brutality, put the spotlight on what the average young dude in the neighborhood was going through, right? Then you got, you know, yourself, CMW. You feel what I'm saying? That era started. Then you got DJ Quik across town. Then you have you just got this thing, man, with so many rappers out of Compton, dog. At the time, I'm trying to think of them all, dog. But Compton always had a place kind of ate because you know the CMW era was big, dog. It's still cracking. You still selling records to this day.
Shit,
you think about it.
So was the BDP era. So was the Tribe Called Quest era. So was the motherfucking Just Ice era. So was the Run DMC era. So was the Eric B. and Rakim
I
era.
love Just Ice, man. Just Ice don't compare to nobody in Compton, no, dog. Just Ice,
shit, man. Come on, man. Don't even start that shit still. You like controversy, man.
I be starting controversy.
If you gonna say NWA, then you gonna say Just Ice. Because he was formidable when it came to motherfucking.
Oh, Just Ice, man. Murderer when it comes to a crime. Homicide, I'm never doing no time. I get my lyrics direct. I'm always getting respect. I get your girl in my arms. She's gonna get wet and very drippy.
It's how you look at it from different hip hop perspectives. Like I said, people are gonna claim they shit. They gonna say Compton like you or whatever you felt, and then people from the East Coast are gonna feel like shit. We've been so dominant. We started hip hop. You get me?
And you know what? And you right, man. And then I'm trying to be controversial. Hey, I'm just for the record. I love Just Ice, dog. Like I could tell you about from Booger Band to Bitch to all that shit. That was like the first hardcore shit. You know what? Actually, he was spitting gangster shit.
Yeah, indeed. Just Ice was on.
You know, before NWA was.
He was on some gangster shit. So was KRS-One. So was all them niggas like Spoonie G and all them niggas that came from that era. They was spitting gangster player shit.
Hell yeah, you know what I'm trying to figure out though. We can't see him. KK. We got the homie KK from Second to None. He on there. His ass so black you can't see him.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, the homie's camera ain't working. No, we can't see you. We just y'all just pretend like he there. All right.
Okay, well look, what about now?
Oh shit, hell yeah. Oh shit, the homie don't popped up. I don't spoke too soon. Hold on. Let me take this one out.
Yeah.
Turn your phone aside, dog.
Okay.
And let me turn this other one off. Hold on. I'm gonna boot this other one from the studio.
Okay, yeah. Is that cool enough?
Yeah, that's cool right there.
Okay.
Because we was messing around, man. You know, I was just saying, like, you heard the conversation me and Ape was having, and y'all all kind of came out during the same time.
Well, what's up, Ape, man? Congratulations on another born day too, as well. Prior to the conversation.
Oh yeah, you know what? Hold on, before we get started, man, I gotta say something, man. He wasn't on last week, but big happy belated birthday, man, to my motherfucking nigga, man, my friend, my homeboy. Not just the co-host. I really fuck with this nigga, y'all. This my nigga right here. My nigga MC8, man.
We good. What's cracking? That's all
Appreciate
good.
you, dog, man. Happy birthday, man. Glad to have you here. KK, you look sideways now, my nigga. Turn back the other way.
Okay, I was just trying the first time.
Yeah. Man, you was upside down and all kind of other stuff. But man, happy belated birthday, man, to homie MC8, man. You know, MC8, you know, in that exclusive club, he a Gemini. As am I got one coming up in a few weeks. You know, Geminis run the world, man. Not only is Geminis, man, just the best people in the world, man. They the best rappers. They the best producers. If you really look at it, Geminis run this shit, just kind of like how Compton run the rap shit.
Okay.
Whatever. It's all good.
Go ahead, Geminis.
We'll take the credit.
So, you know what I find interesting to know when you talk about this, man, y'all from the opposite side of the tracks, literally. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even go into all the, political stuff. But was you hearing about KK when he was like, before he started making music and stuff, before his music became popular?
Well, you know what, man? I have to say this and let the world know. A came before CMW and A came before Second and None. As far as the streets, I heard about it, because I was moving around Linwood, Compton, and whatnot. I was in Linwood when I first heard, I think it was not the blue tape, but I think it was a clear tape,
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool, because a lot of people take it for granted because of its two different color sides or two cells of the story and whatnot. But no, it was a Compton appreciation. Happy at that time, I think 89 or 90. It was somewhere in that era. I was in Linwood. I'm like, oh, okay. Some more Compton dudes, they Crips, that's cool. But it was a Compton thing.
Right.
Just appreciation, right after Spade, Toddy T, Mixmaster Ken, my days, I'm from the east side of Compton. A lot of people don't know that about KK or Second and None. From the east side of Compton, near the Elm Street area. So, but growing up, I moved. Go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry, y'all from the east side? I did not know that.
Yeah, born and raised, east side, Rosecrans between Santa Fe, Long Beach Boulevard, right off Rosecrans and Van Ness, 917. Then I moved to 912 West Spruce, 5th grade, like 81 or something like that. Yeah, and then that's what bet KK belted down the crayons, because I was always headed back to the east side once I moved to Spruce. And that brings the story. I was belting back to the east side, back towards Luther's Park, where I came from. But I moved on Spruce.
I really, man, like fuck with Crawford, man. High C, Crawford Wilkerson, my nigga, that's my guy right there.
I was back on the road, man. I remember, we don't get a lot of chance to get a lot of time to talk about Second and None in the history or whatnot, or just bringing up the fact, even knowing about CMW, there's a lot of Compton history that's untold that'll fill in the gaps and bridges of over these 3 decades of so-called rap and hip-hop history. Because there's a lot of events through this rap and hip-hop history. We were actually there. I just listened to a lot of stories. I'd be laughing. Some of these cats wasn't even invented, but they sure tell the stories.
Yeah, for real.
For real.
You said something real important, man. 8 does predate everybody pretty much. At the NWA, it was Compton's Most Wanted. And, shit, 8 Joe had to be, 17 or 16 or some shit like that?
It was about 17 when we first started. When we first hooked up with Unknown and Slipping them, we was probably like
Yeah,
going on 17. And then we was able to jump on the Compton compilation. That's what started it. We had
that's
our
what I heard. That's what I heard there.
Rhymes Too Funky we had on the Compton compilation. So that kind of set us off right there before everybody started getting picked up. We were like right behind Easy and NWA. I mean, shit, we used to hang with them, go to their video shoots, all of that, you know. They knew about us, some young niggas. Chill used to stay across the street from Ren and them. So he used to
Yeah.
all the time and shit. And they used to invite us to shit. So we was just trying to get our name out there. So we like I said, we had fucked with Unknown and Lonzo. And everybody know Lonzo's famous for the Wrecking Crew and the inception of getting those guys together as far as that is concerned. You know, Dre, Yella, Easy, all of that. So but yeah, we were right on the coattails and shit because Unknown was one of Lonzo's, buddies and shit. And they had these little independent record labels and shit. Lonzo had Crew Cut, Unknown had Techno Hop, LA Dream Team had their label, and then Egypt had Egyptian Empire. So they had these 4 little independent labels, and we just so happened to hook up with Unknown, who had Techno Hop because of being on the Compton compilation. So from there, we got to put out a little maxi single called This Is Compton, little tape that was going on the swap meets and shit, didn't have no major distribution, but that's how we got put on because of those 2 first little projects we had did with those 2 independent labels. And that was, like you said, that was before the inception of all the greats that were there to come from Compton. You know what I'm saying? So we had our foot in the door when the door first cracked open for as far as gangster rap is concerned.
Yeah, I remember I was playing for Long Beach City College football, and the homie Daryl Kemp brought me one of those tapes. And I said, man, this nigga can rap like a motherfucker. I was an MC8 fan from the like Giddy Up, dog. And I didn't know because CMW, that nigga Chill wasn't on no motherfucking songs. All I knew was this nigga right here. So I thought that was like an alias or something. Or I guess he Compton's Most Wanted when he ain't 8. You know what I'm saying? That's his official title, a nigga might have had 2 or 3 monikers back in the day.
Yeah, the homie Chill kept going in and out of jail. So when we first got signed, we signed as Compton's Most Wanted. So they just decided to keep it, you know what I'm saying, and give it a try. And we were able to put out like 3 projects under Compton's Most Wanted, but it seemed like every project Chill would be going to jail. So we ended up just dropping the Compton's Most Wanted, and the label just decided that we was going to start the MC8 projects.
Man, that's crazy you mentioned that, though. I mean, my bad interrupting. But during that era 8, with me standing off of Van Ness, I used to be on Burris. Ant, the light-skinned member of CMW. Yeah, he stayed around on Sloan and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
Ant used to stay in Elm
that
Street.
was the late. Yeah, that's my neighborhood.
We all went to junior high together. Me, Chill, and Ant. We met in junior high school. We all went to Hamilton Junior High in Long Beach. And,
okay, man.
That's where we all hooked up at. And then Ant had the little, Ant Pops, they had converted his garage into like a studio, little club studio looking like for him and shit. And he had turntables and all of that. So we used to go over Ant's house in Elm Street and fuck around a lot. And that's when we first started putting it together. Like, okay, nigga, we gonna be Compton's Most Wanted. And from there, like I said, the shit just took off from just hooking up, trying to practice and work at Ant's house to me crafting my writing skills and shit, and then going on to meet Slip and Unknown and shit like that.
Oh man, that's a blessing, bro. Because during that time, I was actually around the corner on Burris during the 80s. And that's kind of how I heard of y'all. Through Unknown name, having y'all tape. Because I was. Oh,
My
go
auntie,
ahead.
my auntie used to live in Elm Hood, so that's how we used to get over the ants. She used to live on Elm Street, right? Oh, I forgot the street, but she used to live in Elm Hood, so we would go over there at her house from after schools, and then
That's crazy.
we would just bail down Rosecrans over the ants house and shit over there by
Man.
over there by the center and the pizza place and shit.
Yeah, 2 for 1 used to be right there.
Yeah. We used to
Hey,
build.
we was probably walking and talking or one at 125 East or walking to Belling. I used to have to bail by Gus Burgers and all
Mm-hmm.
that Rose Street coming from when I moved before the hill over Alameda.
Oh yeah.
So you
Before
know,
the hill over, yeah. That was
yeah,
old.
before all that, man,
Yeah.
and before the Alameda corridor got built. But during the '80s, that's how I got hip to you. This is before Quik is second and KK second and none and High C. Well, basically KK Quik and High C during the '80s. We were already us from like '83.
Mm,
KK wasn't no rap name. That's my nickname from birth. But during that time, that's how I got hip to y'all, man. And uh, I guess I didn't know about the music, but I heard about it because
right.
I was, from our beginnings, we all started from DJs. A lot of people don't know all the details. We were all DJs. Everybody did everything,
Well,
drum
that's what we here to talk
programming,
about
all that.
tonight. That's what we
Huh?
here to talk about tonight because I want to take that like Eight just told us his origin story, right? What
Yeah.
was y'all doing about that time? Because Quick, y'all always had one
See,
producer. Quick, what was y'all doing? Now you
nah,
telling me y'all was DJing?
you see me smiling.
Mhm.
Yeah, let it be known,
everybody,
KK.
everybody had a drum machine, or we made beats, pause mixing first with the double cassettes. It's pretty much the same story. This started from like 82, fifth grade for me when I moved to the west side on Spruce Street, the 900 block. So, seventh grade, 83, that's when I met Quick in High C. He was already DJ Quik Mix. I was KK from birth and highly intelligent Crawford. Seventh grade, 83. So we were all involved in music. I was basically like the singer slash rapper, comedian, jokester, serious. Uh, uh, that's why me and Pac was close. A lot of people don't know that relationship unless you was in the streets. That's why we don't have no records together. But my bringing up, but nobody discovered us, and if it would be anybody that discovered us, me and D, my cousin, it would have been Mixmaster Spade and Scotty D. So during that era, the late '80s, when y'all was around the corner, I was skip off of Burris, and jumping my colors, we'll go to the talent shows. And these are
Mhm.
the stories during 80, like 80, into 88, 89 to 90. The stories Quick tell on his album. KK should have knew better. That's why my homeboy took you in. AMG moms kicked him out. Well, we trying to do something, trying to not be like nobody else, but this is the type of music we do. We respected Dre, Easy, and all of them. We wasn't over there, but we knew of each other from the streets. Spade and them used to come to my house. So, I knew King T was around the corner off of Wilmington and Spruce where I was back in, from 81 on up. Man, it was watching the hood get formed or watching everything, but I was based around music. And if you go back that whole Davis Junior High, 83 through 86, we can go through and look back the year, but you see me all based around music. The English teacher started a gospel soul choir because I was always singing. You know, uh, we was popular already, basically kind of famous at junior high, so but me, that history, Spade and Scotty D from talent shows, me and D, with our tapes, Quick had his tapes, we had tapes as well, and mixing it with the singing. It's the 80s.
So
You
just let
know,
me get this right. So y'all was producing a lot of y'all own stuff too then.
yeah, that's how it all started. That was the connectivity with me and Quick, and us all being DJs. Me and D started off, and then D was a little behind us, a year behind us in school. So once I got to the seventh grade, I'm the new dude on the west side. As far as fifth and sixth grade, once we got to Davis, everybody was, breaking just came in, windmilling. We was already popping and all that, from the 80s and all that. But breaking it just came in. We was already DJing and scratching before '83. We all had turntables. I had a mixer. Hossie had a mixer, 2 turntables. You know, had a little paper jobs working with Pop, so I was able to get a receiver, 2 speakers, and all that. A mixer, a Kai mixer, 2 Fisher turntables till I got some upgraded in high school, 9th grade, '86. Everybody did everything, man.
Man,
Drum
that was the ghetto
programming,
setup. That was
sequencing,
the
sampling it.
ghetto setup.
Huh?
That was the ghetto setup right there, man. You had turntables and
Yeah.
all. You have a microphone too.
82, 83, yeah. See, Quik, a lot of people don't, this is what I say to a lot of folks, they don't pay attention. You know what I mean? They be hearing a lot of things, but they don't really listen. You know, Quik tell the whole story. I mean, if you go back and pay attention, turn this first album cover while I'm in the front seat with the homie Bebop. Yeah, I was at Skateland with Curtis Blow in the '80s. I was at Eve at the Dark when I was in the 8th grade. So, you know, I'm still there. I think eight, you older than me, I believe. I'm 54. But I was out there in the 8th grade. Skateland, Eve at the Dark. Let's go bowling at Dudos, all that.
Hey,
You
let
know,
me
Red
ask
Fox and they used to come to my mama house on Spruce. When we moved to Spruce, BB King, Tyrone Davis, all of them was on Spruce. Because the little club, the Thunderbird, was right there on Spruce and Wilmington. So I did, that's where the singing kicked in.
Yeah,
BB King was chasing my mom. Oh, you remember the Thunderbird?
yeah, I remember Eve After Dark too on Avalon.
Yeah. I was in there outside when Run DMC came through. See, this the 80s, like 83, 84. LL was with Spade and them, and he had a chop top Chevy on Dayton's back then. I kind of think that's what LL got that Dayton idea from. We seen him 8th grade on PE at Davis Junior High. There wasn't no Kangos really cracking. Here comes Spade now. You know, everybody on PE, we run to the gate so we can see Spade on the Daytons. You know, going southbound on Wilmington, headed towards what we would call Palmer Block back then, going through Cedar Block. I don't see a Kango, you know, I'm more, I have a better perception of things. Some of my peers, that's why the blessing, I guess, to make it to be second to none later. You know, and a collective of some of the homies, even just like hearing me, 8 stories are bringing this collective of history that's unknown. We was all around each other. Man, I think I even ran into y'all downtown Compton when they had the clothing store there, probably in 90 or 89.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, me and Chill was tight, man. You know, I was always on Compton Boulevard in Alameda, the barbershop, phone shop. Yeah, I used to, man, 2000, I was living over there behind Wilson Park.
Oh,
It's a cold game. That's what me and Chill connected around 2000.
Yeah,
I got divorced and whatnot. Moved back to Compton.
They used to have a studio or something over there.
Yeah, that's what I was living at. I moved out my house and got divorced and moved to the studio behind Wilson Park. You already know what I'm talking about. Yeah, me and Cheers to being there, the homie June for Watts. Still, I think I don't know if you came through back then.
Man, I started coming around, man, real early, but I was playing football.
No, I remember you like 91, 92 around Crawford. Yeah. I remember all that.
Yeah, when I met Crawford,
I'm the historian out the crew. I still got stuff from 85, 82.
Yeah, because I ran with y'all so much, dog. I ran with Crawford so much. A lot of people thought I was a blood for the longest time, dog. I had to because I was around Crawford so much. It was like, man, niggas would be like like me and RBX was in Long Beach one night, and we riding, and you know, he was cousin somebody. He said, "Oh, still my bad, man. I forgot you a B dog." I said, "Dog, I don't belong to no gang. You tripping?" I said, "Who told you that?" But I would get that from everybody because me and him was just cool. But what's crazy is I hung around just as many Crips, but I guess people, because I don't know, man, it's crazy.
Yes, association, what they call by affiliation. You're affiliated.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like everybody thought we was from Treetop. Even the red and burgundy car. Still to the day, until somebody on Wikipedia put up their Elm Street Power Bloods or whatnot. a few years ago. I'm laughing because this is another thing about Second to None, or how I invented the name for our group. You know, it wasn't even. Yeah, it's all the street. We all grew up in that in the '80s, but God first, second to no man. But we already lived a life, so don't want to promote that. And you know, out of the respect before the love of hip hop, because it was the East Coast, New York, three boroughs thing. That's we was introduced to when we got to New York in '90. Signed to Profile Records. The bidding war between Def Jam and Profile Records for Second to None, because Def Jam wanted us. You know, after Easy and them popped. You know, Def Jam, it was a bidding war with Def Jam and Profile Records for Second to None.
That's
So
what
there's
I
a
was
whole
gonna
lot of
ask.
history. Yeah, to
That's
open
what I
the
was gonna
door.
ask. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, KK. So who put that album together? Y'all first album, that was a combination of y'all and Quik?
Yeah, people, it's produced by Second to None and Quik. Why would it say co-produced? Because I can't go back in time or AI nobody's ass to get their brain back to reality. Go back and read the shit you bought. Read the credits. That's why I tell a lot of people, quit swiping and read. You want to swipe, turn the page. Write something down to help your brain get back. Go back and turn the cover over while I'm in the front seat. Go back and listen. You know, man,
Hey, did
it's
you know when
it's
y'all
just a
first
whole
did?
lot y'all missed. It's a lot of people got our story wrong. That's basically to say it. That's pretty much what I'm about to do. Just like me releasing my first solo album. It's still Second to None, but I got tired of people saying this and that. Yeah, it was a collective. Me and Quik. Most of the ideas of the records I bought, or that was my idea, or tapping your feet while you hitting. You know, everybody got amazed when Sugar Free came along. We've been doing that, but not taking no credit away from Free. He popped that off first, but we've been tapping. I was tapping on cans with a pencil and a marker and a pen just to see the difference in the sound on the bottom of a can and try to sample that sound back then in the 80s. Just, you know, like I said, double cassettes. Pause that right there. One, two,
You know
quick
what
pause.
though? One
Rewind.
thing I
Make
do
make
know is
the
that
instrumental. Shit.
yeah, one thing I do know that everybody in the camp, man, was serious about their production, dog. Everybody from y'all to Crawford. See, a lot of this stuff I already know. That's why I'm asking you so you can let the world know. You know what I'm saying? The real.
Yeah, well, we all are engineers and we all are producers and we all wrote our own lyrics. And whatever Quick's ideas on his albums was his ideas. Second to None's ideas with mine, and D collaborated. I bought the records for the samples, all the hits, or it might have been an idea like me going, now I need a bass player. How much you charge? Play this, and then get to tap it. Okay, man. Well, you faster on you quicker on the drum machine, the program than I am. So yeah, you can go ahead and knock it out. I'm gonna work on this bass line in my head to get it to a real bass or somebody that could play the bass. Back then, Stan the guitar man was the so-called man, you know. But Dre and them used him, so I don't want to do what somebody else did or use what they use. I want to be creative and have my own flavor and style. You know what I mean? So the distinctive well, this what they doing. I don't want to do that. Not so much uh, being negative on nobody else's style or flavor back then. It's just be different. You know, be unique. And that's, I guess, where the harmony I was always singing. And me and my cousin D, you know, switched the bar. It was all the 70s music. You know, we was Heat Wave, all that. Blowing in church from the 70s on up. Like I say, junior high, I'm part of every choir. I didn't want to be all the English teachers. Everybody heard me singing in the hallways. Put me in something, you know.
Hey, let me ask you this, KK. When y'all first did, if you want it, then I
Yeah.
got it. Did you know that record was gonna be as big as it was?
Nah, because the idea we wasn't trying to make it. You know, we didn't know. We found out probably a year later we were famous. You know, it was
Is that
cool
right?
because $10, 30 tapes in the box, $10 a tape, 300. Late 80s. So the idea of even getting a record deal wasn't on my mind, never. Or even the fact and the idea to become famous. Because in that sense, being from Compton, and, through the 70s and 80s, and all of my being honor roll, not trying to floss myself, it ain't about me, but I was already famous as KK from birth. So wasn't no rap name. That's my nickname from birth, given. So I ran with that. Some of the teachers called me KK. Like I said, I'm in all the yearbooks, Davis Junior High and Centennial. So most of the stuff, you can see my story, or both sides, Samoans, Tongans, Nathaniels, and Serenios could tell it. From the Bay to Dago to Mexico, outside of rap.
Exactly.
What I mean? That's the story. That's the blessing. That's why we still able to function, and ain't nobody looking for us. Hey, and we can still function and get around there and get love like we do around this world internationally for 35, 36 years.
Mm-hmm.
To have somebody even want you that much. We like the dramatics and all the rest of them. The Ohio sound, the Memphis sound, Motown, Compton. Yeah, CMW and WA, second to none. King T. Back then it was King T, DJ Pooh, DJ Var. We heard these names.
Yeah.
Unknown, just the whole Compton thing. And that's what a lot
And
of
where
people
was
get.
VAR from? Where was
Who?
VAR from? DJ
I
VAR.
have no idea. I still be trying to get out of King T, Pooh and them, Toddy T. When I see him, I be trying to, we see each other. I be trying to get stories out of him,
Todd, all them stories, man.
man.
Yeah, we ain't go. Yeah. Ty got some shit.
Yeah. See,
Ty got
this
some shit.
the thing, man. Hey, man, I wish the world could have see how we talking now, 35 some years ago, so it opened their mind up back then to how a lot of people put a jacket on us because of the red card. Well, it really wasn't the red card; it was the burgundy card. We from Compton, so but we never
Yeah.
promoted that.
A lot of people don't understand that, you know what I'm saying, with the burgundy and the red side, it takes a lot of people to understand the foundation of what that shit is. So people get it confused because all they hear is blood and see red and whatever. They don't understand that a lot of Compton homies was Pyrus and shit. So you people have to know that history. You get me? That's like just being on the outside. Niggas ain't gonna understand that shit. They gonna go. The niggas wore they bloods or whatever. So you got to understand. And like I said, when they go back to the foundation of hip hop, niggas didn't want to really go at that because we just want to be hip hop niggas. You feel me? We didn't want to push that side of what he was representing. Shit, niggas already knew they knew. I just
Exactly.
niggas, man. That's all.
Hey, and not to join up, but add to that. Hence our first single, second to none's first single, and it was like the sense of paying homage to hip hop because we appreciated what hip hop did. But this is who we are. And during that time in 1990, we was in New York, so we got it firsthand. Why y'all gang banging? I don't think Cube went through that. We had a different experience being in New York around the same time. Uh, who was it? I'm trying to think of the group, Stetson Sonic, and the
Daddy
drummer Bobby, and I still had Daddy O, and the drummer Bobby from Stetson Sonic. They interviewed us when we first got to New York, took us around the streets. Why y'all killing each other over colors, and why y'all singing hooks over hip hop? This is 1990. Daddy O and them said they still got the VHS tape of the interview we did and grilling us. I don't think I heard stories with NWA in New York. I didn't hear too much about Cube because he was showing more affection. Not saying in those negative way, but they came at us hard, not quick, second to none. Especially with the Def Jam bidding on us, and from Compton. Come on,
What
oh
made
man.
y'all
Yeah.
go to profile?
Well, too, Run DMC had a big part of that as well as like LA Dream Team. I still mess around with Snake Puppet today. What came from Compton and what came from Myra, Spade and Toddy T. you know, but that's what the singing harmonies, the Run DMC aggressiveness. I'm DMC, I'm KMC, Kelton Mac, K Mac, K McDonald. I'm KMC, and that's D.
Mhm.
So it's a mixture of paying homage to hip hop, and what stood out, it was different. Houdini, East Coast. Back then it was Two Live Crew. It was this group. It was KRS-One, the BDP basically, and then all these cats I still talk with. We have relations today. EPMD, who took us on tour. That's us and Dodge Effects. Leaders of the New School when they was all together. Seeing Onyx and all these cats first come together, they still visit me out here. They be with the homie No Name. Everybody come through the spot over in Hawthorne, you know what I mean? So it's still genuine love, 2025, all that. But it's not on Instagram. This is, real life. Streets, ain't no cameras on. Shit. But
Yeah.
I wish that the world could, back then, if we had the chance with all these digital platforms and whatnot, so everybody could have got the story straight just about Compton, let alone
Man, but
West
you know
Coast.
what though? That's what me
Man,
and they doing now, dog. We getting the stories out there. We putting the real out there in the universe. Don't worry,
yeah.
we about to hold shit down for real. Hey, you know what? Let me ask you, man, because you kind of got away from it. Back then, Def Jam was the shit. I think every rapper, every nigga that rap
Okay.
wanted to be
Why
signed
we
to Def Jam.
didn't do Def Jam? The reason why, because there was so much history relative to duos being a duo, and that was basically using the two for second and none. Me and my cousin,
That makes
the other,
sense.
yeah. So the duos, mixed Spade and Toddy T was at the top of the list. Then after that, it was, Houdini, Run DMC. It just fit. Okay, how do we blend in with not sounding like them? My voice sound different. I was already aggressive voice. I didn't want to be DMC. I'm KK. So, but I'm from the West Coast, so I ain't gonna sound like him. D is not like Run, and you know what I'm saying? But in a similar sense, we the West Coast Run DMC in this, but Def Jam and Profile and meeting Run DMC, basically Jam Master Jay and DMC, and being in New York and being schooled in 90. You know what I'm
What
saying?
them
It's
deals
just,
look like back then, man? You said it was a
huh?
bidding war. You said it was a bidding war. Was that Shake
Def
Nice?
Jam and Profile.
Hey,
Leo and Russell came, Greedy Greg, you already know, uh, during the time before Quik and Selected Profile Records and that bidding war, so to speak. Def Jam got a hold of a tape. I guess they thought it was Quik, but it was second to none. So when the music fest, that was at the Stovers Hotel back then in the Century. I forgot the name of that music conference. This is where Suge first popped up. Us and Pac was already chilling. There's a whole bunch of stories. I'll bring them up later about that night, because that's when the whole music world of the West got to see all of us. Second to none, Quik, AMG, and High C together. The homie Teddy Bear. The whole world got to see us. We already knew Battle Cat, from the history from 89 and 90 being off Crenshaw in 76 at Greedy Greg's. So we already knew a few cats from that side of Crenshaw in that era, from being at Hungry Harrow's, Crenshaw and Florence at the car wash, at the Fox Hills Mall. So Second to None was already, I'm not stopping going to Hungry Harrow's. I don't care. I'm spending black money over here. So that's 1990.
Exactly.
89. Oh man, Slaughter Swap Meet. We had a ball, but not being chesty. And that's the blessing to still be alive 30 plus years later. I'm gonna stand up for something, but I ain't gonna be too chesty when things get messy. You know
hey,
what I
so
mean?
I gotta ask you this, man. And I ain't gonna go too much into no whole other stuff about nobody else, right? But there
Okay.
was a time, man, where it seemed like the crew just kind of went on pause, like when Quick started having this little situation with the record label or whatever, and they
Yeah.
pretty much had him on pause from making music. I just always felt like, man, that whole crew could have probably just been so much bigger, man, than what it was, because it was so much heat. You got to think about it. You had Jaw, it was High C, Sugar Free, and Quick. Why do
Uh,
you think
And AMG. Don't forget
and
that.
see,
AMG, yeah, and AMG.
but Free came later though.
Yeah, Free came much later.
Yeah.
He came
So
through Lane with Tony Lane.
originally, just say Quik, second to none, and AMG, even though Croft was around, but that's the majority of how the world viewed it. And that was the homie as well. You know, it was a crew. They kept trying to throw titles on us after NWA, the Compton City crew and all his names they kept trying to throw on us. I'm like, look, we just grew up together, three of us, four of us grew up together, two of us cousins. From 83, we all grew up together, junior high and high school, related around music. Um, it's been plenty times, man, just like you say, it's been situations or some of these major prominent big labels, we probably had the same deals. Not probably, but to be like that label or had the positions. But at that time, some minds wasn't grown enough, you know, and I'm not saying no names of nobody, but we all were kids. So not making the best decision for business wise, being so young and coming from that world, not understanding the business aspect of things back then, being like you said, 17, 18, going into 18 and 19. You know what I mean? So I still got all the contracts right over here. All my crates right there. I stay with them. I'm a paper man. But yeah, man, that wow, it's a lot, dog. But the decision to go to profile, answering that question, getting back to that, instead of Def Jam, Def Jam wouldn't let go of Run DMC and getting this information and knowledge because they never was no Def Jam. A lot of people didn't know that. That was just Rush Management and whatnot.
Yeah, they were just managed by. Yeah, they were just managed.
Right. But Steve Plotnick and Corey Robbins at Profile, they wouldn't let Run DMC go. So being in New York before, you know, we just signed or whatnot in '90. I'm sitting there with Jay and DMC, you know, we talking to folks. Rob Bass, Dana Dane, everybody, you know, Sweet Tea, Jazzy Joyce.
Talking at the label about the
Yeah,
artist.
we at the label in New York at Profile. Right there on Broadway, I believe. 640 Broadway, something like that. But you know, we had spent a while out there, you know, walked around. They were scared to death of us walking around. I'm like, I got pictures. But you know, they were schooling us pretty much. You know what I mean? And seeing and hearing how they was doing Run DMC, that you know, and Def Jam was going through, I'm like, shit, they hear Def Jam kind of, you know, after the Beastie Boys and you know, LL, you know, I was like, damn, that's legendary. Def Jam, damn, we from Compton, that'll be a stamp like a mother, you know. But Quik signed first the Profile. We did the album together. That's why it's produced. It said produced by Quik. It should have said produced by Quik and Second to None.
Oh, so
You know,
y'all worked on all them records with him on the first album?
most of them records is my physical records. I bought. Me and him went to the record store in '84. If You Wanted is my Tough Guys Isaac Hayes record I bought.
Right.
I can name all of the samples and everything. That's why I
Talk
said,
your shit, KK. Talk your shit,
man,
dog. That's why
hey,
you on
like
here.
I say, my ideas. And that's, you know, I didn't want to be a negative, but it's a lot of shit. DJ Quik and Second to None fans, y'all got the shit fucked up. I'm going to just say it like that. And we ain't no haters. But yeah, some people be telling me shit. I just look at them like, you got to remember, we was kids and our album came out 35 years ago, but we had tapes 37 something years ago, almost 38 years ago.
And you know what? I'm gonna put this too. Y'all both some bad motherfuckers. All y'all some bad motherfuckers. So you know
But
what I mean?
thank you, man. All of us, man. I
Y'all
love
some
it,
bad
man. I
motherfuckers.
appreciate the love, man. We
You know,
just
especially I used
we
to
didn't really have a voice,
yeah,
and you know
people
I
don't
talk
know
more in
about
the
the
streets.
unsung, you know, the unsung heroes. Like people don't know. Like 8 produced records. You know,
See, that's man. D
8
make
produced
beats.
records.
We all make. Man, this is what the part and the aspect of where we talking now. That's the enlightened moments, like the world of hip hop, the world of rap, the world of R&B needs to know that. Or the world of music. You know,
Yeah,
we
people
not just
don't know,
no
man. It's
stand up
some real,
rappers and stuff.
yeah, it's some real
Man,
dope like motherfuckers ain't just rappers, like
we can change oil and tires, and we know what the damn jack at.
Yeah, niggas have Niggas have talent, you know what I'm saying? People just want to put niggas in one box, but that's because they don't know. You feel me? And
Yeah.
so you have to let them know the history of what the what your talent range is. You know what I'm saying? I multiple things. Just don't put me in the box and consider me as just a one-dimensional artist, nigga. I can do a lot of shit.
Yeah, A had one of my favorite beats that from Tales of the Hood. I think that boom 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 da da da. That
Oh
was
yeah.
my shit right there. Da da dum dum.
Yeah,
That shit
niggas
was hard as hell.
hands in a few not that niggas don't be trying to, like you said, claim the glory or whatever. It is what it is, but niggas have their hands in a lot of shit people don't know about.
Oh man. Yes indeed. Yes indeed. And there's nothing to take away from nobody else shining. Nothing. That was never the
Oh
concept. Just
no.
like hip hop and going back to our first single, Be True to Yourself, paying homage to those that came before us or a craft or, what they call culture. It was just life at the time before yours and now it's yours. And you find yourself in that aspect of life, and build on it. So that was my mindset from junior high or elementary. Everybody that know me in Compton, everybody, it ain't about me, like I said, but I ain't never changed except for a couple of grades and a little taller and heavier. I'm still the same from elementary, and if you know me, you can, everybody know this. So say all the other famous people from Compton and all the famous street people, I ain't never changed.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
AK, let me ask you
man.
something. Let me ask you something, man. And I gotta ask you this, dog. You know the homie AMG is from Ohio, like me. That's
Yeah,
my dog, right? I talk to AMG sometimes and stuff, right? And how did y'all link up with him?
Greedy Greg's house. Me and my black cutlass taking everybody. Once Player Hammond and them Tweed and Shabby and them scoop Quick up like the story he tell, because we wasn't finished because he had I'll let you hear the first song, the first beat Quick did for us. It's called the breakthrough. But we wasn't finished with that song. All of a sudden, Quick getting scooped up and on LA. Like Player Ham said, yeah, I went to Compton to get a DJ. I put him in my cutlass and brought him back to LA. So I jumped in my cutlass, and High C jumped in his Elko, and D jumped in my cutlass with me, and we went out to Western over there and then Brown it. Somebody said he over there. So drove over there. I think it was 88, 89. Man, where he at? Because we not finished what we doing. He over here DJing with y'all. I'm just sharing the story. But
Mhm.
nah, man, we ain't finished what we doing. Quick wasn't there, and I'm giving the world this because the fans need to know the history of that. And that's how we connected as far as with AMG through that whole linkage, getting the Quick from having them. Hey man, where he at? We ain't finished what we doing. It's cool, y'all, dog. And Ham called him, man, get over it. They heard our shit. What I mean? It was like, damn, the hell.
Mhm.
Same way Spade and them do. I would go back to that Spade, Scotty D, and the talent show and how they gave us our money back, Spade and Scotty D in '90 for the talent show because they heard our song. Uh, man, but yeah, Player Ham is hooking up with AMG, getting the Greedy Greg house.
Mhm.
AMG was already there, because the
So,
Greedy
so Player
Greg.
Ham, so Player Ham brought AMG to the fold.
No, 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 no. My bad. I know I leer off here and there, but I stick to the timeline of life and stuff. But just leading up to that moment, for me, I jumped a little bit because that was going from Compton to LA and the first experiences based around music. That's how going up leading the AMG, meeting him at Greedy Greg's on Crenshaw 76, and we was over in them territories from 89 and 90. The music, made him at Greedy Greg house. He was already there on the drum machine, just like everybody else was. We all Compton came to Inglewood, LA borderline, the Greedy Greg house. The upstairs where all the records were. And equipment, the keyboards, the 4-track. We brought what we had. I brought my records, my mama's records. Quick brought what he had, what we bought at Keeble's record store on Rosecrans in the 80s. Them same records that 4 5 years became If You Want It. They became Be True to Yourself, Curtis Mayfield. Records I bought. Ain't Nothing Wrong, my mama record, KC and the Sunshine Band. You know, you see, we can go into details, all the details about that beat, this beat, how it was, what was used. It sounded like a snare. I was into creating the sounds. Of me and Quik, you know, pretty much out of our group, you know, that was us. You know what I mean? But AMG at Greedy Greg's coming upstairs, he was already in their drum program. He had this stuff already together. So it was cool meeting another cat that was a little different from us. You know, at the time, you know, being from Ohio, he was claiming Inglewood because that's where he was living. So, you know, the door was open. He got a taste of our world because Quik was already over there. We came second, but he got a taste of KK and D or second to none. And, you know, the rest is history, like I say. Quik tell most of the stories, but really listen. My name come up a lot, huh?
Oh
Go
yeah,
back and
for
listen, go
sure.
back and check them records out before Black Tone name come up.
A whole, a, a
Hmm.
whole, a whole lot. You know
Yeah.
what?
Just like
Speaking of,
Compton.
let me ask you this, man. When the whole death row era came through, like, you know, Suge and them was out there doing what they was doing, did you feel like the game was changing a little bit?
Before that running, because we was part of the first running before all the homies got out. See, a lot of people don't know that history too. We was right there.
Mm.
Right there at T Record Shop and Dre. We was in front of Dre and Snoop. I met Snoop before all of them. DOC introduced me to Snoop at the club. We was at the Grand Club.
Mm.
Same place I think I met Cypress Hill. But I met Snoop through DOC. He the one that got me. K, I want you to meet somebody. You know,
Mm.
it's a whole bunch of these stories, man. Like I like, you know, being around they right there, Santa Fe, man, you know, man,
Exactly.
Palmer, Santa Fe, all
Mhm.
these areas, man.
Man, I'm trying to
Uh,
figure out how y'all cats made music back then, man. You know, when I came to LA in '87, right? It was
yeah,
so cracking back then, man. It was vicious back then. It was vicious.
man,
I don't know how
yeah.
y'all survived being in the limelight, man. 88, 89.
Man, it was dudes bumping our tapes. We used to be everywhere in the streets. We even got into a shootout on Crenshaw Citrus and they had that gas station back in the day. Dude thought we was following him. We was on our way to Greedy Greg house. He banging, ain't nothing wrong, because that was one of the underground tapes before our albums came out. I was hitting in the streets. So we, you
Mm.
know, he banging our stuff. He turned in the gas station and started wilding out. I could smell the water in the air, you know. I know he's tripping. We was tripping, he banging our tape. We get into a shootout. You know, he started tripping. He thought we was following him.
Then was
You
the
know,
times, man, and you know the thing is, everybody knew y'all was Bloods, but Quick was
but we
just seeming
never
like
pushed that
so vocal.
line. That's
But you
that's
know
what I'm
what though,
saying,
y'all do?
man.
Quick was so vocal with that stuff, man. It kind of just spread over everybody.
It took over the world storm because Quick promoted the thing of naming homies, you know, or whatnot. That lifestyle we was living it, but just like I say, music overrided. Like I said it in '92 on DJ Quik album. Fuck the red and the blue team. Fool, my color run green. That's on his Way Too Funk album. The title of the song is called No Bullshit. Fuck a truce.
Mhm.
It's temporary. That's my mindset. That's why the me and Pac stories y'all don't hear about. Before Death Row. Out there in Inglewood off Imperial and the IVC and Hawthorne. Me and Breed and Pac and all of them and stuff, you know, during the era before anybody really know what was cracking. That's why we got pictures of us and Easy. Easy over there on 76 Crenshaw with us. My house on Spruce. That's where the Didn't Mean Turn You On video was shot at my mama's house. I stayed in Compton till 98 at that same, I kept that same house. You know what I mean? You earlier you was talking about in Compton, man, you know, no disrespect to nobody else. I'm the only one that stayed in Compton as long as I could believe and where it was known. You know, Suge used to come to the house, Easy, right there on Spruce, 912 Spruce, right for the dead end. You can see it in the Didn't Mean to Turn You On video.
Man, you know that's
You know,
crazy. I was, speaking of Easy, I don't know how you let none of y'all get away. To me, Easy
no,
should
see,
have had
this was the
Snoop
thing
W.
because he couldn't catch us, man. At the time before we signed, we was around. Like I say, the history, we was around. You know, from 8 and them. That was a spark. Thank you, 8, Slipping Unknown and all that. Mike T, the homie, even Ant, his daddy, I think Ant's sister. You know, just you know what I'm saying, man? It was that little stint with Q and you, that man, that ain't had nothing to do with us, man. We ain't on that funny stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, we
It's
know what
all
that.
love.
Sometimes it be the peer pressures of niggas around you and just trying to live up to, you know, what you supposed to be representing, man. You know, that shit caught a lot of us at young ages. We didn't know, like I always tell niggas, the shit was dumb to me because it prevents niggas from all trying to enjoy the
Yeah,
success of Compton hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to give niggas choices of what they want to buy and shit. And I want niggas to buy it all. Not me. I want niggas to buy Quik. I want niggas to buy my shit. I want niggas to buy every nigga that's representing Compton. And when
right.
you drawing the lines and shit, you give niggas choices, and now they got to take a side and pick. So it was always dumb, you know, for us to be beefing within our own section and shit because we all just wanted to represent the hub city. You feel me? And let niggas know
Yeah,
that was the best place that you could be in. You feel me? And that was my message around the motherfucking world was, nigga, ain't no place better than Compton. Whether you got me, whether you got Quik, second to none, Compton's most wanted, whether you got King T, whether you got any nigga that's talking about the hub city, nigga, it's a blessing. You feel me?
yes, indeed,
Man,
man.
can you imagine if y'all had got to make some records? What kind of banging ass, cracking ass records them would have been?
Well, we still here. We all
Exactly.
still got our voices, and now we have better light. Like I say back then, imagine them seeing me and Tupac together, MC Breed, and had the chance to look at three of us and lay low like how the world is looking at us now, and have the decent conversation as grown men. We didn't have that light back then, or too much to share content and communications. You know what I mean? So definitely a blessing to even be talking and speaking on it, to be here to speak on it, you know. Do all the stories everybody don't know.
Yeah, for real, man. You know, the next time, man, you right around the corner from us, man. The next time we gonna have to have you come in and sit down with us, man. We
For sure, for sure.
appreciate you. I appreciate you,
Man,
especially on the last minute shit, because I just hit the homie today, like, man, what you doing tonight? Come on the show, come kick it. Because you know, it's so many stories, man, and that's the thing. I be knowing these stories, but they ain't never my stories to tell, man. I'd rather bring the homies on that, you know, that
man,
really got the thing in there, man. Let them tell their own, you know what I'm saying? Let them tell it. Because y'all will tell it way
yeah,
better than I
man.
ever could.
I appreciate the love, even reaching out and having the time and space, both the brothers, you know what I mean? Just to share a
All good.
tidbit to the
Great.
world, you know. Uh, like I
For
say,
sure.
I had the voice, but didn't have like the choice of platforms to speak back then. And like on that record, just like the truth. That shit was temporary. Let's move forward to something permanent. You know,
Hey,
that was spoken in '92. You know,
let me ask you this, KK, because you know what? I'm always had to keep it funky. You know, Quick is one of the most talented people in the universe, dog. Ultra talented dude, man, right? Super dope, man. Like
yeah.
he rap just as good as he produced. He's a dope dude, right? When y'all was it ever hard working with him, dog?
Well, straight up, and everybody know I'm straight up. It's always a tussle working with something when you have I'm not a competitive spirit or a person. You know, I can compete, but I'm not pushing a competitive agenda. You know, I can
Mhm.
do that very well, but that's not the point. And that's why, like our first single, don't have no hooks and called "Be True to Yourself." You know, I like to pay homage to those of life and not just rap. Everything that came before me. You know what I mean? So that's speaking of who I am and the person I am that the world don't know. They just know second to none. Cause we ain't really had a voice. You know, but here it come. My man, damn, you know, like I say, it's my first time world. Yeah, I appreciate and apologize if I'm ranting and jumping here and there.
Oh, it's
But you
all good.
know,
It's all good, man. You know
man,
what? I
you
just
know.
had to. You know what? I had to add because Quick is a genius, man. And when people are
Well,
genius,
he
man,
calls
they
me
got.
a genius. He calls
You
me a
are a
genius.
genius,
And
but you
like I
know,
said, it ain't. That's why I brought up the it ain't no competition, and it's hard working with somebody that feels that their peers might be an equal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that can happen, man.
Or
That
when
can
you find a kindred spirit, or how did it start? See, a lot of this, it started from me and Quik. Let's get the shit straight. Then it elevated. Come on, cousin. I see.
Right there. You ended
Right
on that.
there.
And on that note right there, man, we out of here.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Shoot,